Imagine a flying machine so enormous it can carry entire tanks, huge trucks, even pieces of buildings across the sky. A helicopter so massive that when you stand beneath it, you feel like an ant looking up at a whale. This isn't a futuristic dream or a scene from a sci-fi movie. It's real. And today, we're exploring the incredible story of the Mi-26, the largest and most powerful helicopter ever built. Modern aviation today is safe, predictable, and meticulously organized. Pilots follow strict rules, engineers design for efficiency, and passengers rarely notice anything unusual. That's a good thing. It keeps us safe. But let's admit it, modern aviation can sometimes feel a little boring. Many enthusiasts spend their time learning how to tell a Boeing 767 from an Airbus A330, just by the shape of the cockpit windows. But travel back a few decades, and the skies were full of risk and imagination. Engineers were more like mad scientists, sketching designs that looked impossible, and test pilots were daredevils, willing to risk their lives to see if those machines could actually fly. Aircraft looked like monsters stitched together from different ideas, and the people flying them, they were closer to superheroes than pilots. The Mi-26 is a survivor from that era, a machine that combined extreme ambition with real-world practicality, and it has remained unmatched for more than 40 years. Let's rewind to the 1950s and 60s, a golden age for aviation innovation. The Mil Design Bureau, founded by Mikhail Mil, was already pushing boundaries. In 1952, they introduced the Mi-4, a 7.5-ton helicopter that was impressive for its time. But they didn't stop there. Just 5 years later, in 1957, the Bureau shocked the world with the Mi-6, a massive rotorcraft that could lift double the payload, making it the largest and most powerful helicopter in service. For the Soviet military, that still wasn't enough. They wanted something capable of lifting 20 tons, entire armored vehicles, missile systems, or massive cargo in one go. The engineers at Mil thought, if the military wants 20 tons, why not dream bigger? So they proposed a helicopter that could carry 40 tons. This audacious dream became the V-12, also known as the Mi-12, essentially a flying apartment block, with two giant rotors mounted on wings. It looked more like a bizarre hybrid between an airplane and a helicopter. The Mi-12 smashed world records, lifting over 44 tons into the sky, a record that still stands today. But it was too big, too complex, and too impractical. It ended up in a museum, a symbol of what could be done, but not what should be done. After the Mi-12 experiment, the engineers returned to reality. They needed a helicopter that wasn't just record-breaking, but usable in real operations. This thinking gave birth to the Mi-26. At first, the project was considered just an upgrade of the Mi-6. Bigger engines, stronger frame, maybe a longer fuselage. But as design discussions went on, it became clear this would have to be an entirely new helicopter. The Mil team debated different layouts. Should it be a tandem rotor like the American CH-47 Chinook? Should it use two rotors side by side like the Mi-12? Or should they stick to the classic single rotor design? In the end, experience won. They chose the traditional single rotor. It was familiar, easier to build, and easier to maintain in the field. But that decision didn't mean the project was easy. Creating the Mi-26 was one of the most complex engineering tasks of its time. Every piece, from the engines to the rotor blades, had to be designed, tested, and redesigned to handle stresses far greater than any previous helicopter. By the early 1970s, the design was ready. In 1972, the Mi-26 project went head-to-head with a rival design, the Ka-35 from the Camo Design Bureau. The Ka-35 was unusual, with its coaxial rotors stacked on top of each other, an exotic design that looked impressive but worried the military. The Soviet high command, tired of weird experiments, wanted something reliable. So they chose the Mi-26. The first prototype flew in 1977, and after years of rigorous testing, hot climates, frozen tundra, high mountains. The Mi-26 officially entered service in 1980. Now, let's talk about its sheer size and capability. The fuselage measures 33.7 meters, with a total length of 40 meters, comparable to a Boeing 737 passenger jet. The helicopter stands 8.1 meters tall, with the tail rising to 11 meters, the height of a 3-story building. Maximum takeoff weight, 56 tons, the same weight as an Embraer 190 jet. Its cargo hold is equally impressive, 12 meters long, 3.2 meters wide, and 3.1 meters high. Enough to carry 85 soldiers in full gear, 70 paratroopers, or 60 stretchers with medical crews. The standard payload is 20 tons. But in testing, it once lifted 25 tons to an altitude of 4,000 meters, setting a world record. Loading and unloading is straightforward, with ramps, multiple doors, and overhead winches. Working inside the Mi-26 feels more like operating inside a cargo airplane than a helicopter. Powering this beast are two D-136 turboshaft engines, delivering an astonishing 22,800 horsepower through the VR-26 gearbox. Its 8-blade main rotor spans 32 meters. Interestingly, it's slightly smaller than the Mi-26 rotor, but much lighter and far more efficient. The tail rotor has 5 composite blades designed for maximum reliability. With 12,000 liters of fuel, the Mi-26 can fly 800 kilometers with a full load. Add external fuel tanks, and the range stretches to nearly 2,000 kilometers. Cruise speed is 265 kilometers per hour, maximum speed just under 300. Ceiling, 4,600 meters. And in record flights, it's gone as high as 6,500 meters carrying full loads. When compared to the Mi-6, the Mi-26 was a revolutionary leap forward. Slightly larger on the outside, but inside, it offered nearly double the cargo efficiency. Its debut at the 1981 Paris Air Show stunned the world. Journalists from Sikorsky and Boeing, hoping to showcase their own designs, walked away impressed, and perhaps a little disappointed because nothing in the West could match it. But the Mi-26 was never just a military machine. From 1985 onward, civilian versions appeared. In Siberia, it became a flying truck and crane, delivering massive loads to places no road could reach. It has been used to lift crashed airplanes out of jungles, carry humanitarian aid after disasters, and even transport entire locomotives. Exports spread the Mi-26 across the world, from Asia to Africa to South America. It has been used for construction, firefighting, rescue missions, and peacekeeping operations. Wherever something enormous needs to be moved and no other machine can handle it, the Mi-26 is the answer. To date, over 300 have been built, an impressive number for a machine of this size and complexity. And here's the truly remarkable part. More than 40 years after its introduction, it still has no direct rival. No other helicopter in the world can lift as much, fly as far, or work as reliably under such extreme conditions. Standing beneath a Mi-26, you don't just see a helicopter. You see the spirit of an age, when engineers dared to dream bigger, and when pilots were willing to test those dreams in the sky. The Mi-26 is not only a flying machine, it's a symbol, a reminder that sometimes the craziest ideas can become reality. A reminder that size and power can be matched with elegance and efficiency. More than 4 decades later, the Mi-26 still rules the air. The undisputed king of heavy-lift helicopters, a titan born from fearless ambition, and one that will likely keep its crown for many years to come. So next time you think helicopters are small, fragile, buzzing machines, remember the Mi-26, the flying giant, the legend that still soars.